Sesto Elemento. That's Italian for sixth element. And those of you that have been forced to memorise elements on the periodic table will know that sixth element is carbon. And that is what the majority of the Lamborghini Sesto Elemento is. If you took all the carbon out of this, you'd basically just be left with 4 tyres. That's seriously how much carbon is in this. It's mainly carbon fibre, but then you've also got carbon ceramic in the brake and stuff like that. It's actually based on a Gallardo, but then they sort of did away with 95% of the Gallardo-ness, turning it into one of the most extreme and rare track cars ever made. And it's also been forgotten for quite a while. I don't know why people have forgotten the Sesto Elemento. It's a shame because I actually really like it. It's one of my favourite cars, well, modern cars in the world. And it's just such a cool thing. It looks very imposing in real life. This one doesn't really. It's too high up. Sort of weird and not right. It's also got what's obviously supposed to be fake Gallardo wheels, rather than fake Sesto Elemento wheels, and it's also got the rear lights off of a Hurricane. And for some reason, a massive red button in the rear end. Did they give this car an arsehole? Moving on. To make a Sesto Elemento, what they did was they took the Gallardo and stripped out nearly everything. There's barely any creature comforts on this car. And that's because most of it's been replaced with just carbon fibre. You'd think something like the Gallardo... Did they do a GT3 Gallardo? I think they did. But then there's also the Gallardo Superleggera, which is super light. And then there's this, the most extreme one. It's also got a NatAsp V12. Which is, well, possibly the best type of engine ever, sound-wise. What is in automotive, what in the world of cars is the most common answer to what's the best sounding engine? Lexus LFA. That's a NatAsp V10. V10s are a mixture of sort of the growl of a V8 and the sort of burble of a V12, and they are so glorious. And naturally aspirated means there's no turbo, blow, or supercharger irritating whine. Meaning this really is the cream of the crop. Interestingly enough, this isn't the most powerful iteration of this engine, as they kept the V10 engine for the Gallardo and the next generation of Audi R8 V10. I still think this is the nicest sounding one, as I think I'm right in saying one of the only non-carbon bits of this car is the exhaust system, which is titanium, which is an even more expensive metal. Now, all of this weight saving means that this car weighs, under a ton. Less than 1,000 kilograms. Which means basically it gets blown away in the wind. Seriously light. And of course it's got a lot of power pushing it, so this is a quick thing. And I mean seriously quick. Climbing... oh, for God's sake. Actually, no. Not seriously quick. I mean, it's quick, but it's also, well, outranked by a lot of cars in its class. Bit of a shit. Why does it just steer of its own accord? It's a shame, like, it's quite quick, but I would say it sort of isn't the best on launch. It's more the push after 150 miles an hour that's really special about this car. Look, you see, it's not that quick, and then all of a sudden, the numbers keep jumping really, really high. I can't avoid crashing this bloody thing. Which is ironic, considering Well, look at how easily it stops. Here we are doing about 140. And then it just comes to a stop like that. Hitting a tree would be a slower way of decelerating. That's how good the brakes on this thing are. So, while it lacks the necessary puff to use the most of them, at least you know they're there. Before I go and drive this on the twisty roads, I'm going to do a moose test with the, whatever it is, Sesto Elemento, that's it. Just using the endurance race chicane. That was interesting. The back definitely wanted to step out, but didn't. I would say it actually turned quite well, but that was obviously helped by the amount of deceleration, or just braking, that I could do. I have a lot of trust in the brakes of this car, which means that when I take it to the twisties, hopefully it should provide some fun results. Here we go. Whoa, okay, right. That's interesting. Turning definitely feels very buttony. I feel like I had this criticism for one of the cars in long-term reviews. But still, it's not a very fun car to drive. It's just, you just turn and then it turns, rather than you actually having fun. But it is fun to blast through the corners. While the actual turning isn't fun, the amount of speed you can carry through these corners is very much fun. Just a shame that I can't have both. Oh well. So let's see how it slides. Handbrake it in. There is a lot of bodily lean. I think my number one priority for this in long-term reviews is suspension. But other than that, I would say, as a drift car, it's pretty competent. Like, let's just send that in. That's nice. What's happened? Why won't it drift properly now? Maybe I've got to carry more speed. More speed, there we go. Just about carrying the speed. Whoa, it tried to flip. This thing feels dangerous to drift in a city with curbs. It's not bad to drift, but there could be improvements. Feels like something I've been saying a lot this review. Not bad, needs improvements. So, let's see if the lap time can change my opinions on this. Know one thing for a fact. Needs a suspension job desperately. I hate the suspension on this, with a passion. But I really like the Sesto Elemento in real life. So why have you made it look so weird, Foxy? I'm unhappy. So let's see if a blast around the track can change that. Off the line. Look at the way the back comes up whenever there's a gear change. That's how you know the car's too tall. Oop, understeer. Back tries to kick out when you brake in the middle of a corner. Good speed through, what is it? Crash corner? No. Drift corner. I can't remember what they called it. Still, more power. Up the straight. 38.3. Bad. So, if you want a V10 Lamborghini that's track focused, save yourself 10 mil. This is just better. This is actually really good. Don't get the Sesto Elemento. It's shit. Thank you for watching. A proper V10 Lambo. I'm happy again now.